Hey, and welcome to round two of my ESPN Fantasy Basketball League. Um, it's going to shape up to be an interesting week this week. I'd say odds are I'm probably going to lose. But that's not a bad thing to know going into the week. It means that you can potentially either go for a really aggressive strategy with a bit of high risk, or you can concede the week and consolidate for next week. Um, so if I'm looking at my player forecast this week, um, let's see who I've got. So part of why I'm a bit worried I might concede the week is because probably my highest ranked player, Anthony Edwards, is in reserve. So I've already had to drop him today. And I'm also playing Wemby, who was dropping mad points last week. So if he has a good week, I've got very little chance of catching my friend Eway. And looking at the forecast as it is, so so this is the um, my forecast versus his forecast in the graph here, but you can see that he's had some in reserve challenges. So he's also had some injuries. So he's picked up Draymond Green today and dropped Dominic Barlow and picked up Cason Wallace for Brandon Miller. And now the reason he has done that is quite strategic. So he's trying to bank games early in the week. So if you look at who's playing where again, you can see that Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green's going to play 2 games back to back and a third game. So in the beginning of the week, first 4 days, he's going to play 3 games. Similarly for Cason Wallace, OKC, he's going to have 3 games early in the week and a back to back to start the week. So in terms of players and drops, these are really good choices. I was a bit hesitant to pick up Cason Wallace because he's got an injury risk. So I stayed away from him today when I was thinking about who I was going to replace Anthony with. And instead, I went for a Kings player here. And so when you look at my add and drops for the week, I picked up Dennis. So Dennis will play back to back for me. Now, going back to my forecast. So I'm already Eway's got one add and drop on me already. Like we haven't even started playing and he's got an add and drop on me. That's fine. So take that into account when you're looking at these. So again, the solid is, oh, sorry, the dash line is no changes. So this is a raw forecast. If everybody was playing, everybody was healthy, everything was all good. And actually, with no changes, I was looking like I might win the week, right? But when you take into account that I had to drop Anthony to in reserve, my forecast decreases. Like my likelihood of winning the week at the end really drops here. So I go from having, this point here where I thought I was going to have a good solid chance to dropping back down here. And when Eway makes some of his changes, you can see that he's ahead at the end of the week now. Yeah, so he's currently forecast to come out on top. So player adds and drops are going to be really important. I always look at how the week starts. And so I've got a really full lineup today. When I look at the quick lineup and look at what's happening, like I really could only pick up like a couple of extra players. Is this all right? Sorry. 25th. Sorry, wrong day. I won this day. Yeah, so I've got a really full lineup today. So I've only got a couple of New York players who aren't playing, basically, and everybody else is on the court. I'm not going to drop them. Similarly, one play down. So there's not a lot of wiggle room for this first day here. There's nothing really to be changed. Now we've dealt with our in reserve players. And then going into tomorrow, I do quite well. So I'm thinking about it as a 2-day block here, where I have a lot of players on the court. That's what the stars are, compared to Eway, who's only got a handful. And so you can see I'm going to, looking at this forecast again, I'm probably going to come ahead at day 2, which I'm pretty happy about. And I might be able to maintain that for a few days, but towards the end of the week, this is where things might start to change. And if I'm clever about my player adds and drops, I may be able to pick up some points. Yeah. And I should mention that this forecast for Eway, this blue forecast, I reckon is very conservative. I think my estimate for what Wemby is going to score is probably too low. So this could be like plus 75 points easy. Yeah. So what else do I want to say? I'll show you my plot of the back-to-back games. So on the far right here, this is like no changes if nothing happened in the landscape. But that's not the case. We're already dealing with injuries. So you can see that it's likely I go down day 1 today, which is a bit sad. I'm going to have him on points tomorrow. So the 2-day total, as I said, was pretty good, but the rest of the week is not looking great. I think he's going to beat me on points every day but the second last day. But the one thing I will say is he won't be able to pick up players on this last day. He's got a really full roster, whereas I'll be able to pick up players. So if I am in deficit, I might have a chance of chasing him on the last day. Yeah, I think my gut says that given the strength of his team at the moment versus my team, he should win this week, but we'll see. In terms of strategy, I'm always trying to pick up players who are going to give me the most points on court. That's one of the pieces of code I haven't written yet, and I will write an optimizer to tell me which players to add or drop at some point. But I'm just not there. Probably at Christmas time when I get some time off from my actual job. And so when I'm looking at who to pick up this week, again, I'm trying to pick up back-to-back players. So there's not a lot in our pool. Like you got Philly, you got OKC, but those players potentially aren't going to drop huge points for you. So even if they've got back-to-back games, what's left in our pool to pick up isn't probably, I don't know if it's worth it. Again, not a lot of Golden State Warriors to pick up in our pool. Otherwise, I'd be trying to pick up these players. Later in the week, it really is a case of not many people are playing back-to-back games here. So there's really, in terms of your player add and drops, you're not getting a lot of power for that. I've already picked up an Orlando player earlier last week because I knew this back-to-back was coming. So again, no one really for me to add in that sense. And so the first time things start to get a bit interesting maybe is here with Indiana. I'll be on the lookout for those players, maybe even pick one up a bit earlier here because I can get 3 games out of 4 days. That's pretty good. And later on in the week here, what am I looking for? I think there's a couple further down. Yeah, so you've got Boston's playing it back to get back in here. That might be worth picking up. There's a center in our league who's still floating around the pool who might be worth adding. Did I miss one? I think I missed one, but I can't find it now. Yeah, here. And Boston. Yeah, so Boston and Charlotte. And again, if you could pick up a Charlotte player here, you get 3 games out of 4 days, and that's probably pretty good value versus some people who are only playing, say, 1 game here. So I'll be trying to maximize players in that sense later in the week so I can get a good forecast going. So see if I can't maybe boost ahead on this last day. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you're having good luck in your fantasy league too. Okay.